Here we are again at Christmas Meadows and the cabin and doing another lecture. This is week 3, and by now you might be really quite frustrated with this class because, gosh, there's this silly video game that you're doing and then you have to do all the other things. But at least my lectures are pretty brief and online like this, and we're always there, of course, to deal with any concerns that you have. Um, I do want you to know this is an experiment because we're trying to find a way to teach um, an experiential, have a team experience, a virtual team experience, without um, bringing you all into one classroom and having you all in the same place. Now, there are 2 articles that you have to read for this week. The first is about gender issues. It's an article that my wife and I wrote about what the he's can do for the she's in a team environment. And sometimes it's the she's doing for the he's. I know that. So don't worry about all the gender issues so much as be aware that gender issues play out in teams in a very, very big way. So you have to figure that one out. Sounds like somebody's chainsawing in the background over there. Most of the time we don't even have neighbors up here. So anyway, I want to let you know that the 2 articles that you have are pretty important. The first one that my wife and I wrote is pretty important, but the one that I like the most is the one about emotional intelligence. And I got to tell you this story, okay? I'll put this up here so you can get a nice view of things. Isn't this a great classroom to lecture from? So a couple of years ago, I was in an executive's office. Now, this is if I gave you his name, you would probably know who he is. He's fairly famous. He was a former athlete. His subordinate, who I was working for as a consultant, wanted to increase the quality of teams in the organization. They had some really big problems with quality, and they were focusing on those problems, and they thought if they brought in a better team dynamic and taught people how to work in teams better and created more of a team environment, that things would be better. So we developed a really good proposal for this. He was going to champion this. He was going to do a lot of the work on this, and he was trying to get approval from this senior executive, this leader. I put leader in parentheses. So we set up an appointment to go in and do our presentation. I'm invested in this. It's important to me, but it's not as important as it is to him. It's his world. I'm just a consultant. I'm just a helper. We're ushered into the office. The leader is not in his office yet. He's late. He's somewhere. No explanation. 15, 20 minutes go by. We chat. Finally, the guy comes in, and he's mad. He's just mad. He's got a magazine in his hand, and he throws it against the wall, and he goes in and he sits down at his desk, and he huffs and he puffs. And my friend looks at him and said, "Having a bad day?" And he goes, "Yeah." And this guy had been a quarterback, and somebody had made a list of the best quarterbacks to ever come out of Utah, and he wasn't on the list. Now, this guy's in his 40s, and he's looking still back 25 years to his glory days and worried about the fact that he wasn't listed as one of the best quarterbacks to ever come out of Utah. And he's all mad and huffy about that, and that impacts this meeting. Well, that's an example of someone who really doesn't have emotional intelligence. They don't understand that getting the answer right isn't the only thing that's going on in the room. Getting the emotions and the feelings right is also important. We've all known people who have emotional intelligence. I have a friend, I'm going to call him Cam. I have a friend named Cam who's not the brightest bulb on the planet, but he's always in these leadership roles because he brings this calming emotional influence into teams. He has this ability to get things done, this ability to get other people to help solve the problem. And that's what emotional intelligence is that it's not just in the brain, it's not just in the rational world, it's in the ability to think through emotionally what's going on in the room with the team and think through emotionally what's going on outside the team and deal with those things in an appropriate way. I've said this last week, and I'll tell you one of the things that exists in an emotionally intelligent group is that there's no blame. Every problem, everything that happens is everybody's problem on a good team. And I think that's a really good characteristic of an emotionally intelligent team, is that there's no blame. You don't sit there and blame others for when things didn't go well. You sit there and say, well, how could we do better training? How could we do better whatever we did? When our failure happened, it wasn't the one person taking the lead and taking the responsibility that is responsible for that. It's all of us, because we were supposed to train them. We were supposed to help them make that person's success. We were supposed to help them be managed. We're supposed to hire the right person. We're supposed to put them in the right place. All of these things come into play, and so you all take mutual responsibility, and then you look at each other and say, how could we do this better? How could we fix it? How could we improve this? And that's what this idea of emotional intelligence is. And I think it's really important that you read this and understand this. Now, you may be having some emotionally intelligent people in your group currently in this video project that we're having you do. There may be some people that are emotionally intelligent, and there may be other people in the group who are going, who react, who throw the magazine against the wall, who are just frustrated, and they bring that sort of emotion into the group, and you need them to withhold it and control themselves more in order for the group emotion and the group dynamic to be more productive. So watch for that in your groups and see if that occurs. Thanks, everyone, for engaging with us in this grand adventure. Keep reading this work. It's really important. Keep up on the readings. It's going to be in your test, and it's going to be something that I'm going to expect to see in your papers in your final analysis. I hope you're having a lot of fun with this. Take care.